It has been 30 years since FZero for the SNES dropped and changed some asset or some facet of gaming. Not the entire landscape, but some.
We just
part
don't
of
know
it.
which one.
Which something. It changed something. So FZero dropped 30 years ago. Happy 30th anniversary for the FZero and the
FZero.
impact. Yeah, the impact it made. But as we all know, aka, well, really, as all FZero fans know, because not everyone knows this. God, this is just sad. Anyways, FZero doesn't really.
You're trying your best to get through this in the most optimistic way, but you know it's sad as hell.
I can't. It's impossible. It's straight up impossible. FZero hasn't had a new game in the series after. Wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. 10. I don't even know if you count the arcade and the BS games and the expansion kit as separate games, but
I would not, but continue.
Yeah, but that's what I'm doing, just so I can give some extra oomph to this series. Oh, God. After 10 games, we haven't had a new game in FZero in quite literally over half the amount of years that it's been around. Ah, wow.
That's the saddest statement, bro.
But it's true. It's been FZero has been around for 30 years, and we haven't had a new game in 16 years.
God.
So today, Simon, who's here,
hey,
and I, Josue Mendez, we are going to talk about how a new game in this series could and, well, really should ultimately look like. And if, let's say, FZero, let's say Nintendo Direct comes out and, oh my God, they end it with a surprise banger. FZero FXG0 Megaforce All-Stars comes out for the Switch.
Megaforce. Hyperdrive. Director's Cut.
Dino Thunder SPD comes out end of the year for the Switch. How does that look like? We thought about it. I have some thoughts. Simon has some thoughts. We're just gonna go over it. This wasn't easy. I'm not gonna lie to you. This wasn't easy, and I don't even think Nintendo should listen to my thoughts. To be honest with you, Simon.
Well, they're not gonna because it's FZero, so I don't think they ever look up FZero on the internet.
God, you had to do that. Oh, that was.
I'm not wrong.
Brutal.
Am I wrong?
You're not. But let's go through it.
So, a lot of people have been kind of berating Miyamoto the last couple years about FZero, asking what do you mean? Oh, I'm sorry. Since the beginning of time, they've been berating Miyamoto about the next about the next FZero game and trying to find out why exactly they have made one. We're not going to talk about why they have made one in this episode. We have another episode coming out after this where we address exactly what happened to FZero. But I want to point something out that Miyamoto did address when he was asked about the FZero series. He essentially said that for there to be another FZero game, they want to make their game unlike any traditional racing game because there's so many traditional racing games on the market. They want to make them more gimmicky and more gamey. And to do that, they need a new controller scheme. So Miyamoto claims that because they do not have a controller scheme that's right for an F-Zero game, or a brand new one at that, they really can't make a new F-Zero game. I think that's kind of a stupid excuse, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Because F-Zero GX was the last solid game in the series, and it's already a very advanced and technical game. Ask any F-Zero fan, they know it's a very technically advanced game. There's no other racing game like it. So why do you need to add more to the game by adding a new controller scheme? That's just so dumb and just like a waste of money. Right. No one is going to buy a controller, a brand new controller, or a new controller scheme for an F-Zero game that is not applicable to any other game. So I personally think that's just an excuse that Miyamoto came up with that's not valid. I personally think that doesn't need to be a controller scheme. But while researching that, I found out there was an F-Zero community on Reddit that's actually surprisingly pretty active. I don't know if you've ever checked it out yourself, Josue.
I have.
They're pretty freaking active in there.
Around, yeah.
Yeah, they're really thirsty. I feel bad for these people. Um, there's a user on Reddit by the name of Mr. LBN, and he's a pretty active user on the subreddit. And 2 years ago, he actually posted a hypothetical write-up post on what he thinks FZero could look like in the future, possibly on the Switch. He did this by pooling opinions and thoughts from most people in the community and subreddit, and he came up with a lot of good ideas that I kind of want to bring up now. He brings up the controller scheme that Miyamoto brought up, and he claims that there actually should be a new controller scheme. So he mentions that maybe they can use a game controller that's more pressure sensitive for drifting and extended trigger buttons and a left side Z button. And a lot of people agreed with him on that sentiment of that would actually make driving better in F-Zero. But once again, I feel like why would they spend money making a controller that had a left Z button and extended shoulder pads? I just want to bring this up because I want to see what the community thinks. If you're an F-Zero fan, please comment below if you think that's actually necessary. Me and Josue don't play the F-Zero games like that, so I personally don't think it's actually worth the while. I think if an F-Zero game were to come out, you would just want to reuse the same GameCube controller schema you were using for GX. Which brings you to the point of just following GX. GX was so successful in the fan base, and it is by far the best game out of all of them. Why not just follow the same thing GX did in a cleaner form on the Switch? You ever see the game, what's it called? Fast RMX? Or Fast Racing Neo? You ever see those games?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're games that look really similar to F-Zero by Shinin Multimedia. Fast Racing Neo came out like on the Wii, I believe, and Fast RMX came on Switch recently. I think November 2018. And essentially, it looks like an F-Zero game. It's very much a speed-focused game where you go as fast as possible using boost depending on the color of your vehicle, and it just looks visually appealing. I don't think F-Zero needs to be that, but like as in terms of the gameplay, but F-Zero should at least look like that. Why can't someone like Shinin Multimedia get a contract with Nintendo to visually create the graphics for a new F-Zero using the engine of GX? Why can't that be a thing? If you're already putting out Fast RMX, which seems like it's getting you some sort of money, why not just try putting F-Zero over an Fast RMX type game with Shinin Multimedia behind it to see people like it? If people like it, you know F-Zero has a chance, and then you can keep making more games. I don't think it would actually work out that way, but there's a chance. So why not? If you already have this one game that looks like F-Zero, and it smells like F-Zero, it plays like F-Zero, not all the way, but looks almost close to F-Zero as possible, why not just make an F-Zero game like that? I personally think Fast RMX is the blueprint they need to follow, along with GX's engine. If you combine those two, I think you can easily have a F-Zero game in 2020 on the Switch. I don't know if it'll be successful or not, but it definitely will be a good F-Zero game, considering you haven't had one in years on the Switch, nonetheless.
You know what? I'm looking at Fast RMX right now, and I agree with you. It actually looks very similar to F-Zero. But then, it's really interesting. Actually, that's actually very interesting.
It's like stupid close to F-Zero, dude.
But how well did it sell?
See, I really don't know that. I know it's not commercially, what's the word I'm looking for? It has pretty decent ratings. It's like, Metacritic gave it like an 81%. I think IGN gave it a 7.4. It's not hated. I don't know if it's sold well, but I personally know that it definitely was liked by the community. And I think if you put F-Zero above, if you put that name over it, a game that, did pretty decently well, you could get sales from all the fans that have been waiting for years, and oldies who just haven't played games like that in a while.
It's just insane, man. This is a game that was, well, not necessarily developed by Nintendo, but was a second-party developer. It's just, man, this really could have just been, paste the F-Zero name on it.
That's what I'm saying. I know hardcore fans don't like the idea of just putting F-Zero over Fast RMX and not using drifting, not using MTS, MTRS, any of that mechanic that you guys use in the advanced techniques of GX. I know you guys wouldn't want that, but this is a good stepping stone. If you just put the F-Zero name on it and see how people like it and read it, the casual fans might even enjoy it, then you start appealing to the competitive side and maybe make another GX for the Switch. It's frustrating to me that Miyamoto thinks he needs a controller scheme for this game. That's what's holding him back, when Shinin Multimedia is literally making F-Zero right next to you. Just fucking call them and ask them to put F-Zero over it, and then boom, you have an F-Zero copycat that could send you forward to other future F-Zero games.
I shared this thought with you already, but I'm nervous that the only way Miyamoto may look at this and think that F-Zero will really successfully continue in this realm of gaming is if Nintendo ever dips into virtual reality, and then that's the controller that he's talking about, where now you're in the cockpit of the Blue Falcon and now you're the one racing. And now you're like, I hate the idea. Don't get me wrong. I hate the idea. I don't think.
But
that's
for Miyamoto, that's definitely something that make him go, "Oh yeah, we can work with this."
Exactly, because he straight up did say that you need some new controller. You don't need a controller.
A new way of playing it. I don't understand why. The reason why I don't agree with that statement too is look at Star Fox Zero. That's exactly what Star Fox Zero did. If you go to our YouTube channel and click on the video I made about Star Fox Zero, you know I think that was a terrible game that should not have been made. And if Miyamoto wants to do another controller scheme BS that he did for Star Fox Zero on F-Zero, dude, that's not gonna pan out. The controller scheme's not the solution, man. You literally have the controller, you have the fan base, you have a game that looks so damn similar to F-Zero, it's frustrating. Just make all three of those things marry each other into a blend and put that on the Switch. That's it. And I personally think, going off of Mr. LBN's post on Reddit, I also believe this could become a competitive game on the scene for like tournaments. I think Mario Kart is not as competitive as Nintendo would like it to be, where people would actually get like they would actually get good money from it. F-Zero could be the more competitive side to Mario Kart, where you can actually have an esport out of it. If you have a time trial mode, that's the competitive side of it. Or if you introduce new things like a zero test that lets you edit stuff, like editing vehicles, editing tracks, editing anything really you can think of, and to make it into a more tournament competitive heavy game, dude, you have an esport right there that gave you money, just like Smash Ultimate is doing for you right now. I don't see why you don't think that you can make a game like that.
Something that I also would want to add to that as well is keeping the energy of the series, making the game hard. GX is notoriously known for being hard. Yeah. And as such, I feel like whatever next game in the series comes out, if it ever does, needs to keep that energy still, right? And needs to be hard when it comes to a single player. And so when you asked me when we came up with this prompt, right? How should the next game of F-Zero look like? I had a feeling, right, that you were gonna start looking at more of the competitive stuff because that's you. So so then I started looking at how a single player experience should look like for the next F-Zero, because GX did have a single player experience. There was a story mode for GX.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna throw out the most insane idea.
Hit me.
And you know what? I don't care, because you know what? This game isn't gonna get made anyways, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's one thing that sucks, guys. We say all this, but I think all of us know that this is not gonna happen.
You ever played Burnout Paradise?
Yeah, why? I love that game, by the way.
The game is phenomenal. Phenomenal game. I want a sort of single player experience, sort of like that, where you get to explore Mute City.
Ooh.
Because we've never had that. I want to be able to.
That'd be sick.
I want to be able to explore Mute City, not as Captain Falcon though.
Literally just in your car.
Yeah, but yes. But I'm just saying that if you're gonna start a new F-Zero, essentially whatever this game is, this next game, this needs to be a soft reboot, sort of, for this series, right?
Yeah.
A game this long in development, it's not in development. A game this long, right?
It's not in development.
You can't just pretend like these characters are still everyone's favorite. No one knows who these characters are. No one knows who Samurai Goro is, right? No one knows who Blood Falcon is.
Nah.
So, what you need to do this is my proposal. Someone from the slums of Mute City, right? I already came up with a name for him.
What?
This is Teddy Racer, right?
Teddy Racer? You wanna try that one again? I know you just didn't call him Teddy Racer. I know you just didn't say that. You misspoke, right? Where the f did that come from?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually had a name before, and I completely
But you forgot it?
what it was. All I know
Oh,
is
you
that
said
the last
Teddy
name.
Racer?
The last name was Racer. I forgot what the first name was, but it was a lot better than Teddy. But you know what? We're gonna move forward with Teddy Racer because guess what? You can change his name. You can change his name.
I hate you, bro.
His name is optional. You can change his name, right? So, anyways, your playable character, Teddy. Teddy is.
Please say something else.
No, I'm not going to. Teddy is from the slums of Mute City, and from that, you kind of go through the story mode, right? Where you kind of gotta put together the best racing car, and you can see it as you go through the story mode, where like you just go from location to location in Mute City, make the highways like freaking lit, where you get to go as fast as possible, just because that's the point of FZero.
Yeah.
But like, you get to customize the car, make it the best possible car you can possibly make it, right? And then you're doing this all so that way you can get into the FZero Grand Prix.
As I mentioned, I see where this is going, yeah.
Yeah, where finally the last person you race against will be Captain Falcon, and that will be the only time, the first time in the entire game that you actually hear the Mute City theme song, because that's so iconic.
Yo, low-key, this sounds like 2K. This sounds like a 2K My Career mode.
But you know what? I actually thought about that, and you know what? That's sort of something. That's sort of the kind of energy that Nintendo needs, and I feel like low key, this could work for FZero.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
And not only that, Teddy will be the second character, the second playable character in for FZero in Smash Brothers.
I had a feeling you're gonna bring it back to Smash. His name is not fucking Teddy.
Applicable power-ups that you get in this game, in this hypothetical FZero game, will be Teddy's moveset in Smash Brothers 6.
That should be kind of fire, low-key.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
I personally, so I think that's not a bad idea because there's not been a story mode like that in FZero, so bringing a new one would not really like split the audience. But I feel like at the same time, though, knowing Nintendo, they're gonna play it safe. They're not going to make it competitive, and they're not going to introduce a story mode like that. If Nintendo were to make this now, you know for sure what they do is just make it a very casual, fun racer, where it's like, look how fast you go, look at the vehicles you can choose, oh, Captain Falcon's here, hey. I really doubt they'll be like, let's go deep in and make a brand new OC character, and just let's go off of all this competitive stuff too and bring back all the mechanics. Knowing Nintendo, they wouldn't want to do that. But I personally do believe the story mode is not a bad idea, and it should be implemented, but what I think is the most important part is if you want the game to succeed, you need to bring back the mechanics of GX. That needs to be your first.
Oh, yes, 100%. This is
needs to be number one, and then comes story mode.
This is me talking about the single-player experience with those mechanics in mind.
Okay, yeah, then I'm with you, because I think the importance needs to fall on those mechanics. If you strip that, if you take that away, let's say you abandon all of it and you just make FZero about racing with no drifting, no MTS, no super suicides, none of that stuff, it's gonna flop. It's gonna flop because people are gonna be like, why would I play this instead of Mario Kart? Why would I do that? Even if with a story, people will be like, no, this is not fun. This is not the FZero I remember, or it's not competitive, or it's not different from Mario Kart. So the mechanics need to come first. That needs to be your main priority. And then, yes, I agree with you. A story mode for first player would be fantastic for more of a casual crowd, and also for people who genuinely might not have people to play FZero with.
And well, not just that, but I bring that up solely because FZero GX did have a story mode.
Yeah, I know they did, but it didn't have the story mode you're referring to, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah, of
your
course
story
not,
mode's like really pushed it, which I don't mind at all. I think that's actually a pretty like genius idea. I just think that Nintendo, is way too cautious about all that, and they're not gonna try that. You and I both know.
And you know what they will bring up because I've been seeing this trend lately in Nintendo games, and it's not even
But
a bad idea, and it's something that they actually have done in the past for F-Zero, for the BS F-Zero Grand Prix games.
what?
Um, a race maker, like actually create the racetrack.
That's what I was referring to earlier. I don't know if you didn't catch that. I said yeah, I do believe that there should be an element where you can customize vehicles and tracks and make your own.
Ah,
That
gotcha.
way that's why it's very free for people online to do what they want, as also locally where you can download tracks and really just mess around. Because I think having that in F-Zero could be the thing that pushes it over Mario Kart, where Mario Kart you just can't do that. And I think in Mario Kart you wouldn't even want to do that. You can't really make a racetrack in Mario Kart. That wouldn't really work. But I think in F-Zero you definitely can make a racetrack because it comes down to not items and not weird terrains. It's all the same kind of terrain on no matter what track you go to, and it's not really based on items. It's based on just the advanced techniques that your cart does. So
Right.
I think that definitely should be a thing. I can go
Right,
all
it
day.
should. It needs to be.
I mean, no, yeah, 100%. I can go all day talking about what else Mr. LBN put on this Reddit post, but I don't want to just read off and take credit for it. So if you're an F-Zero fan or someone just interested, please read up on this guy's post. He posted a lot. Like it's a long Reddit post. Like he put a lot of detail into it, and I think this is exactly what an F-Zero needs. It's missing stuff like Josue and I story mode that we mentioned, and certain stuff too, more fan service stuff for casual players because his post is more about the competitive edge. But I think he's on the right track, and I feel like he did a good job. So I just want to give a shout out to him. Besides that, though, I personally think this is what needs to be done for an F-Zero game in 2020, if it were to come in 2020. It frustrates me that Fast RMX is out, and they just didn't think to put F-Zero on that. You might as well try it. What do you have to lose? You literally have nothing to lose with your IP if you try it. You already don't respect your IP as it is. You might as well throw it on something and see if it sticks. I personally think that's the approach. I hope that at least some of these features get implemented if a game ever comes out. If a game ever comes out. But that's kind of it on my opinion on what an F-Zero game will look like in the future. But yeah, those are our thoughts on what F-Zero could look like in 2020 if it ever were to come out. I think we all know that that's not the case. If you're interested in our thoughts about what exactly happened to the series, because it's been 16 years since, any successful main title, we will soon be posting a What Happened to F-Zero episode on our podcast and YouTube a couple days after this goes up. So please stay tuned for that. If you like what you saw/heard, please comment, subscribe, review, anything that's appropriate to the said platform you are listening or watching this on. And until next time, guys, bye. And I'm so sorry, F-Zero fans. You guys deserve the world.